Alrighty, I think we should be live now. So, as always, please let me know how the audio is, if I should turn me down or the music down, or if it's all right. And yeah, and in a moment, I'm not quite sure, 100% sure what I want to do first. I could jump right into the Q&A, or I'm pretty sure, yeah, I just scouted this here. Let me see how these fights are. Are there a lot of difficult ones? There are a few that are a bit challenging, so perhaps I'll do that first, or I can jump right into the Q&A. Sorry. Will you be doing city reviews? I might do a bit later on. I'm not quite sure yet. But yeah, I might do a bit later on. So yeah, that's one thing I'll do. Of course, the Q&A. I have a bit over 20 questions, I think, that I've grouped in 17 questions, I believe it was. And then I'm sure I'll get a few questions as well in the chat while I'm doing it. I guess I can quickly collect here. Ooh. Okay, almost forgot, yeah. So, slowly working on my way through the quests here. Next one is 4 hours. Alright, let's put these back on 4-hour productions. Yeah, I'm definitely not in any rush when it comes to the winter event quests. Because yeah, ideally, as I went over in my videos, you don't want to do too much early on. I'm also kind of in the middle of a rebuild of my city. I just researched field artillery, and during the event, before I play, but probably after I've done all the quests here, so I don't know, perhaps in a week or two, I will move up to industrial, because you will be able to get... oh, not there. You will be able to get the police station among the options here from the event. So yeah, that way I don't have to research everything, because I am going for high rage units, at least initially. In this world, as I've gone over, I'll probably go up to future era, stop there, and then yeah, work on arc, and then move my way up the ages. Anyways, so yeah, I think I will start fighting the continent map here. I think that's what I'll do. And then I'll do the Q&A after that, and then perhaps after all of that I will go, I'll perhaps do a few city reviews to end the stream. So if you do have any questions for the Q&A, you can write them now in the chat or later on, and I will scroll through all of them after the 20 or so questions that I have prepared already. But yeah, before that, let's do a quick round of guild continent map. Sorry. So I also want to record this for my videos eventually. They will come out eventually. So let me turn off the layout while I do this. It shouldn't take too long. We still haven't really had... I feel like the worst fights, or the hardest fights so far, were in this province here, or these two. All of these have been relatively easy compared to those, with 1 or 2 exceptions. So yeah, let's quickly fight our way through this, and then after I will be doing the Q&A. Anyways, welcome Nicola, Nova, Christian, welcome Leslie, how are you doing? So this one, I'm gonna go for turtles. I will use... Actually no, before I do, I will get a few damaged rogues first. I'll do 1 round here with some damaged rogues, because even against fights like those, I will probably take a few hits, and it really does help having these damaged rogues. So that's what I'll do first. Alright. Really wish you could, I don't know, inflict damage yourself on your units. That would be... wouldn't take this long, but yeah. It's unfortunately a necessary step to be able to win a lot of fights on the continent map. I didn't really use it early on. You've probably seen that in my videos. I didn't really use it. I could have, but well, wasn't really any use for it or need for it. I see I have Truth there and Protection active. If I bought Truth there, I won't get Prostration, and instead will get PME blocked, right? Yeah, you should be able. Yeah, you should get the PMA blocker then, I think. After you get to PME, I don't think anything special will happen. I think you'll just complete all the PME quests that you're blocked on, and then move up to the Oceanic ones, I believe. So yeah. Unless there is some sort of trick, I don't think so. But who knows, perhaps there is some hidden or some unfound trick that will allow you to perhaps get units from higher ages than... Well, not really, because I believe in Virtual Future and above, I don't think you can start the quests before you get to that age. I think they added or changed something around then. So you probably can't get Virtual Future and higher units anyways. Which is a shame, because I definitely wouldn't mind a few rocket troops. That would be quite fun. Would be improved versions of the turtles. But the turtles work quite alright anyways, so no problem there. Alright. There we go. That's all we need to do some preparation. For now at least. I probably will have to go back in a moment and do one more fight. But for now, we can start. Let's start with this one. So the reason I want to have a few damaged rogues here is so that I can allow some of these to hit me. So I'll take down, hopefully I'll take down at least 3 of these. I will try to kill both, but sometimes that doesn't happen. Sometimes one survive with a bit of HP. I think I'll be able to kill all now, so that's nice. Yeah, okay, so I was able to kill all, but now in the next wave, I can allow some of these to hit me because I have these rogues. Might not be necessary, but yeah, I at least have them if I need them. Hello there, Eric Erico, and hello there, Heath Hitchcock. How are you doing? Alright, actually, yeah, didn't need it. In similar fights I have needed them, but yeah, that one I'll do in a moment, that one as well. This one is fairly easy to complete. All I need is... I skipped over it. There it is, a combat drone. And I'll still go for... I'll go for damage rogues here because the sentinels will hit those instead of my main unit. How's it going? It's going quite alright. Currently I am fighting my way through yet another Space Age Mars continent map province. And then after that I will do the 10,000 subscriber Q&A. So again, really want to thank all of you for subscribing, for joining me on this journey. Definitely not what I expected going into it. So yeah. Luckily, this fight is really easy. And there we go. And the next one here, I could just auto battle it, but I don't know, I want to record it. Kind of have cinema version of it. YouTube won't let me go live until I have 50 follower subscribers, really? Okay, I didn't know that. Or, in the past I knew there were limits. I think they were even higher back then, but I thought now you could do it without, but interesting. Yeah, just make a few videos. If it's on Forge of Empires, it shouldn't take that long. Just make some topical videos on the event, for example. Actually, the remaining here are not exactly challenging, or a bit challenging, but they probably will. I probably will lose quite a few rogues at least. Hi, I never managed to catch you during a live video. If you do city reviews, can you do mine, please? possibly. Yeah, I might be able to do that a bit later on. So yeah, if you are around until the end, I might be able to do a few city reviews depending on how long I go on. That's right, Heath. You were the guy with the big diamond farm. I remember. Okay, so I was really lucky here. I was able to kill almost all. So didn't actually lose that many rogues, which is nice, only 2. Alright. I want to try doing this, but past experience would lead me to believe that some of these will hit my main units, so I won't, so I'll do that a bit later on. But before I go back and get some more damaged units, I can do this fight. And the other fight, which one is easiest? They're roughly the same, so let's go for this one first. I've been doing your higher age videos in Briscard. I'm an indie and just halfway through PME, and you're right, MG teams are great. Yeah, really are a big game changer. So I believe that I won't be able to kill. Let me do... no, let me kill off 2 sentinels instead. Let's make sure to stay out of range of these. There we go. Alright. And then next time I can hopefully kill some of these off. Ooh, almost didn't survive. So I can move it a bit. I don't want to put it next to this though, because sometimes they actually hit your unit if they're next to it, even though they can hit some damage, a damaged unit like here. So I'll wait. This might actually not go as well as I hoped. It might still be fine. But yeah, both of these will be able to hit me now, which is a shame. Let's go for that. Okay, nice. So they didn't kill it completely. Then let's kill off one of these. There we go, that's nice. Let's deal a bit of damage. It will probably go for that. Yep, there we go. And then let's kill off this guy first. And then hopefully... Alright. So, probably could have gone a bit better, but that's alright. Need to build up death. Yeah. Yeah, so early on this world, first I focused a bit on attack early on, but then I went all out on defense, because I realized that I was always 2-hitting the enemy units. I would need a lot to 1-hit enemy units on the continent map. So I didn't really need any more attack at that point. I needed defense to survive longer. Right now, I need a bit of both, to be honest. So, alright, let's go back and get some more damaged rogues. By the way, is the event itself nerfed, or was it always so few stars, finished on some worlds already, and 3 to 320? You always get very little early on, and then the daily quests give you a big portion of the stars, as well as the daily login. You get 25 per day from those 2 sources, which is quite a lot. So that's always been the case, although it has been nerfed slightly. I believe you got 60 more stars last year, something like that. So nerfed a bit, but not a lot. So yeah, early on you definitely don't get a lot, which is another reason why going for the calendar is pointless, because you don't have enough early on. Alright. What ratio of attack to defense do you recommend? It really depends. Like, in some situations, like I just explained, it might even be better with more defense than attack, but in most cases, I think somewhere between somewhere around 2 to 1, perhaps a bit more defense than 2 to 1, so perhaps, how should I put it? 5 to 3, for example, something like that. But yeah, in general, more attack is better. I believe FOE Elite has a video on it where it goes over if you should add attack or defense. Just a spreadsheet with some damage calculations and so on that someone made. Perhaps I should make a video on it myself covering it, but yeah. If I can manage to get even 5 shrink kits per city, that's 140. Yeah, you can get a lot of shrink kits if you want to. Is the OT in this event? I was thinking to go for Death Train Car, or as many as I can as a level 1 train itself. If you want defense, I would go for Sentinels, because you can get the Sentinel Outpost Selection Kit, which is very nice. But the Olympic Treasury is available this event, so you could go for that as well. So, yeah, personally, I would go for Sentinel, but OT is available. Hello Moo, do you have a list of Forge of Empire's best practices that I can pass along to my guildmates? I think it would be a very handy guide. I don't. No, I don't. I generally have specific tips and tricks for specific events, features, and so on. I don't really have a lot of general stuff, which might be something that I should add more of. But no, I don't have any of that right now. Alright, let's go back to Space Age Mars. I am at the point where I need to make a decision as I'm running out of space in the city. Yeah. Yeah, in that case, you should just start replacing older stuff. Alright, I think I'll do this one. Should be relatively easy. I will go for... I'll go for 2, I believe. Probably should have gone for 3, actually. That way I could kill all of these, but I got quite lucky with these, that they hit 1 of each, so I'll continue with this. Because it's gonna be fine. That's a shame, though. Alright, let's make sure we are out of range of these. And that as well. Just take out that. Won't be able to kill either of those right now anyways. Alright, so at least they grouped. Don't think I'll be able to kill both. Neither. Although my one rogue at least should be able to reach, yep. So that'll be able to reach. And then I think I'll be able to kill... Yeah, I'll be able to kill both of those two. This rogue should hit hopefully that one. So let's kill both of these two. Nice, alright. And we can kill that there. And that there. And there we go. Lost 2 units, a bit more than I wanted, but that's alright. Alright, this one. I think I need to go back and fight once again, so... Or get more damaged rogues, I believe. Actually, no, I don't. Alright, in that case, let me first do the other one. Because I'm gonna lose quite a few more rogues here, that's for sure. Like for me, I can do it. I watch my kids all day and request on my phone at work. Nice. Ooh, interesting. Alright, so hopefully these won't kill both of these turtles. That would be a shame. Let's see if I'm able to kill off a few of these. That's a shame, alright. This might actually not be successful. I'll try again. I'll try to complete it, but... Or will I? Because ideally I want a lot more of these... No, I'm gonna surrender and try again. I might have been able to win, but yeah, I'll try again instead. Okay, I need to go back and get some healthy units. So before I do, let me do this, because I don't need all damaged rogues in this case. And then I'll go back and do one more prep round. Alright. Oh, nice that this took 3 hits. That's really good. I want to be careful, because if these move, it might be able to move further. Or, no, I think that's... I'm not sure how it's counted actually, if it goes... No, I think it goes... Don't think it goes through. But yeah, let's make sure... Well, let's try to be safe regardless. Should be able to kill off one of these though. Then hopefully... I'll give it a go. That's unfortunate. Would have hoped that they went for my rogues instead, but alright. At least my rogues can hit back at a few of them next round. One there. One there. And hopefully this one. Oh, it can't. Okay, could have optimized that a little bit better. Higher chance. No, okay, not quite. That's nice. That's not nice. That's quite nice. Alright. Let's try to kill off as many as we can. Can we do all? Nice, alright. Alright, there we go. Lost 4 units. Not that big of a deal. Okay, so one more prep round and then we are good to finish off this, and then I'll get on with the Q&A. And then, yeah, as I mentioned, after that, might be able to do a few city reviews if I have time. Alright, let's go for it. Here we go. Alright, there we go. Anyway, so how are you guys doing? Are you doing anything interesting this weekend? Or just chilling after a busy week? That's more or less what I've done. Although it hasn't really been that busy. A bit busy at work, but not too bad. Alright, let's let them take out my rogues. I actually wish there were more of the artillery units in this fight. Perhaps I should see if I can find a better one. Because it takes a few rounds before all my rogues are transformed. There we go. There we go. Right, let's kill off all of these. Okay, get them all damaged. It really does feel a bit weird to do this, but I can see what their idea was with the AI. It feels quite natural to create it so that it attacks damaged units first. Try to finish them off, but it's it's a bit weird. Alright, a few more. And there we go. Alright, so now let's go back and finish that fight. Let's hope for some better luck this time. So I'm thinking perhaps going for 3 turtles. I think I'll go for 3 turtles this time. Alright, 2 hits on that, that's good. Can we get to... Ah, nice, that's very good. That's much better luck. Alright, I think I'll actually kill off one of these. And then use the rest on these in the middle. Ah, that's unfortunate. Perhaps I shouldn't have killed off that one. Because now, I'm probably not able to kill off all of these. That was probably not the best move. Okay, that wasn't the best move, but that's quite good luck as well, actually, that they took that many hits. That's good, okay. So yeah, we're still good. We're still good. Let's hope that this one dies. No, okay. It is alright. And there we go. So yeah, all my turtles survived. Only my rogues died, which is perfectly fine. Alright, there we go. And let's scout the next one. I am very low on coins, actually. I only have the ability to scout 4 more. Luckily, I do get back coins from all of these, which does help, but it's starting to get quite expensive, and my coin production isn't that high. So, might be something I need to look into in the future, but... Or perhaps I'll just start playing a bit more Guild Battlegrounds. Anyways, with that out of the way, let's start with the Q&A. And here we go, I prepared this and everything. Let's start with this question from Atomic, one of my Patreons. He asks, my question would be, what was your first computer game you ever played? So I have 2 answers here. The very first game I played was probably Solitaire, or a similar card game on my grandpa's computer. Probably sometime in the early 2000s. I don't know, probably around 2001, 2002, around there, I think. Oh, can I pay diamonds for missing coins? How much? That must be a fixed price then. So yeah, that was probably the first game, I suppose. But the first actual game I played was probably a Norwegian game called Flåklypa Grand Prix. It's based on a Norwegian movie from the 70s of the same name, so you can check that out if you want. And it basically was a game. Let me actually turn with that for a moment. It basically was a game of a lot of different mini games based on this world. So I know some sort of snake game, some sort of sorting letters and stuff. I don't know. I remember this being very satisfying when I played it. Don't quite remember exactly what I needed to do, but I remember that was very satisfying. What else do we have? Ah, this one you have to collect. Try to collect as many apples as possible. So all sorts of these mini games, a lot of different stuff. Match 2. We have, I don't know, there's some other sort of Match 2 game, I think. Let's see, I remember there. Ah, we actually have some checkers game as well. Interesting. Then we have Pac-Man. That was one of the modes or mini games. Not quite remember what this was. But I definitely remember the monkey and some sort of stereotypical Eastern person. Anyways, a lot of these different minigames, and I had a lot of fun playing it. Not sure how well it stands up to modern times, but yeah, it was a lot of fun. And I definitely remember... this specifically, this area here. This is kind of the main character, this is one of the bad guys, I suppose, so... I don't know. Not sure if you can check it out, or actually no. I think they did make a remake a year or two ago, actually. So if you search for Flåklypa Grand Prix, I'm sure you can find it on Steam or something. Let me actually see if I can find it. Because I think they remade it. I don't think it got that great reviews, but I think they remade it. They did. So I don't know. I guess you can try it here if you want to. Don't think I would play that much for it. Not sure if it's worth that. Mixed reviews. So I don't know. So yeah, that was my first game, and I had a lot of fun playing it. Anyways, moving on. So I grouped these 3 questions here together, kind of the same thing, I suppose. Some basic questions on where you're from, what's your age, and so on. That was Nicola on my Discord channel, and Pierre, one of my YouTube videos, asked in which country do you live, and Koitze on Discord as well, do you have a wife, kids, and what jobs do you have? So let me kind of answer all of these together, I suppose. So I am from Norway, born and raised in Norway. I've lived a few different places in the country, grew up in one place, studied in another place, and then right now I'm in yet another place for work. So been a bit over the country, mostly on the west coast. Don't really want to go too detailed into where I live and all of that. But yeah, I'm from Norway. I am currently 25. In January I will be 26, which it's not that big of a change, but because I live in a different city from where I grew up, to visit my family I have to fly home, and starting in January I have to pay full adult price instead of a youth price they have. So I don't know, not a big deal, but I have to pay a bit more to get home to see my family and stuff. But yeah, I'm 25, almost 26. I do not have a wife, I do not have any kids. I live alone, and quite happy with that, to be honest, but yeah, who knows what the future brings. As for what job I have, or what I do, again, I don't want to go too detailed into it, but I am mainly doing programming for work, and mainly within automation, so making machines work, do what they're supposed to do, and so on. So yeah, that's the main thing I do. I do a bit. It's not purely that. I kind of do a bit of everything in terms of programming at work. So while others focus a lot more on that, I'm a bit here and there. I use Python a bit, for example, and so on. So yeah, a bit of everything. Oh, and actually, let's get the music back up. So yeah, that's a bit about me. I think I mentioned a few of those other times as well. So yeah, I think that's answered those questions. And if you do have any follow-up questions or anything like that, you can ask them in the chat, and I'll try to answer them as I get to them. Alright, so here, have you ever been to Canada, and do you ever visit vacation in the States? The answer to both of those are no. I haven't been to either. I haven't actually been outside of Europe yet. I have been in quite a few different places in Europe, but no, never outside. I probably will travel to to the States or Canada sometime. I would like to. We do have some, for me at least, some relatively distant family. Haven't really met them too often, but my mother's cousins, I believe it is, they moved to the States, or their family moved to the States and live there. So they have been over here a few times, and before I was born, my family, my mother and her sisters and brothers, they went over a few times, but I have never been. So yeah, who knows? Perhaps sometimes I will visit the States or Canada. Again, I would like to, but who knows when? Who knows? Alright, moving on. How do you feel about the dissolution of the Kalmar Union? So, in case you didn't know, actually let me bring, Wikipedia, I suppose. So, the Kalmar Union was a union between the Scandinavian countries from 1397 to 1523. And to be quite honest, I don't really have that many thoughts on it and how I feel about it. So, yeah. I guess in general, was a good move of dissolution, although of course we were in various unions and, or I guess better, yeah, we were under Sweden and Denmark until quite a lot later, so not sure how much it changed really. Not that familiar, to be honest, with all of the details of the history there, but yeah, don't really have too many thoughts of it. But yeah, in general, let's say I'm in a favor of it. All right, moving on. Will we ever see a photo of you? I don't know. Perhaps one day. Perhaps at 10,000 subscribers. Who knows? I don't know. Don't really have any plans at the moment to do any sort of live streaming with a webcam or anything like that. In fact, I don't really have a webcam, or have computers or a laptop and so on, but don't really even have a webcam, so that would be a bit difficult. But who knows? Perhaps in the future I will. Can you control center mouse wheel to zoom in one notch on your browser? Is that close enough? But yeah, or are you talking about the questions? In that case, I can zoom it out a little bit like that. So yeah, that's a photo of me, perhaps one day. But again, I don't really have. I quite like I don't know, being private, not having my name out there and so on. So I don't have any immediate plans, but who knows? Perhaps someday in the future. All right, and then Cookie asks, if you are a mewing cat, is there a meowing cow out there? And almost, not quite. On the US server, my name is Mooing Cow, so still mewing, but cow instead of cat. As for mewing cow, who knows? I'm sure you can find it on the internet. A lot of different things on the internet. So I'm sure you can find something in that regards. Face reveal at 100k. Sure, why not? Doubt we'll ever reach that, but who knows? All right, then these two questions. Kitty Home asked, what made you become a YouTuber? And Matrix, if you wasn't a pro YouTuber, would you be a pro fisherman or pro skier? So first of all, I wouldn't really consider myself a YouTuber. I don't know. It's I feel like that's, I don't know, a title for people who do YouTube full time, which I don't do. It's a hobby. I have a full work, so I don't know. Yeah. As for what made me make videos is probably a better way to put it. I have mentioned it a few times, but I can go over it again. So this channel, it started out actually with my set builder. So back in 2020, after the university for the year had ended, I didn't really have a lot to do. So yeah, I was quite bored. At the time I was playing Forge of Empires. One of the things I quite liked was the cherry set. And I was making all sorts of crazy designs in an Excel sheet, a spreadsheet, but calculating all of the stats automatically like this took way too long, or you couldn't do that in the Excel sheet. I know someone made something that resembled, or some Excel sheet where you could calculate a bit automatically, but it was quite a fixed format and all of that. So that made me want to make this website here. And another reason why, or how I was able to make it, was because the library I'm using to make this, which is mainly 3JS, which is actually a 3D library. But yeah, I used it for 2D. That library I had used at university that term, so I was familiar with it, so I could transfer a lot of that to the tool itself. And then the GUI here is a separate element, and then the bottom bar here is also a separate thing. But most of this is built in a library called 3JS, a JavaScript library. So I made the tool, and I wanted to show it off to other people. So I made some videos on it, and that's how it started. And quite fortunately, right after I made the tool, the fall event was released. So the video I made for that got a lot of views. I think it got like 10,000 views in a couple of days, which for someone, an unknown person like me, without any views, or had a few views, but not that many views, it was definitely quite a shock. So yeah, that's how I started making videos, and then I think it was a few weeks later, the Aztec settlement was released on beta. I thought it was quite interesting, so I decided to make a video on it. Because why not? And that turned into a daily series of videos on my first playthrough on beta on the Aztec settlement. And those became quite popular and so on. Then eventually I also made an event video. I'm not quite sure which one was the first. I think it might have been winter, possibly Halloween. Towards the end of the year at least. And that became really popular, and then I just continued doing that. And then the year after that, or the March after that, I made the the spreadsheet for the St. Patrick's Day event and my videos on that event. That's what really grew my channel beyond initial. That brought me over 1,000 subscribers. I was able to monetize my videos. I was able to, that really helped as well. So yeah, I guess that's kind of the early story of my YouTube channel. So yeah. And yeah, iPenguinPat, he gave me a shout out in his St. Patrick's Day video of 2021. Perhaps that's the video you're talking about. And that's really helped me bring me over 1,000 subscribers. I was slowly approaching it. But then after he made the video, I jumped by a few, 10, 20, or 50 subscribers or something like that. Brought me over. And well, I was actually able to monetize that video before the bump of all the views, so that was nice. But yeah, that's how I got started, I suppose. That's why I became a YouTuber quite accidentally. I do have a secret though. I have mentioned it a few times. I will not reveal it fully yet, but I do have two actually older channels that I made videos on. I made Minecraft videos back in the day, starting in 2012, I want to say, up until 2016, I believe. So I wasn't completely new to making videos. I did know how to make them, however amateurish they were. So yeah, that's how I got started. So yeah, and if I wasn't a pro YouTuber, would I be a pro fisherman or pro skier? I would definitely be a pro fisherman. I do like skiing, but I haven't really been skiing a lot, well, since I was a child, really. It is how it is. But yeah, I'm quite like skiing. Bigger fan of, what's the English word? Downhill or slalom. I think that's, yeah, slalom. So yeah, downhill, that kind of skiing. I prefer that over cross-country skiing. But yeah, I quite like both. But I definitely do prefer fishing, and luckily I live right by the coast. In fact, my house as well is right by the sea, so I can go literally, 20-30 meters from my house, from my front door, and I'm able to fish. So that's really nice. Definitely taking advantage of that. So yeah, I do fish semi-regularly, although I don't really have a large fridge. So I can't keep that much fish, but yeah, I do fish quite often and quite like the fishing. Has done for my entire life. Grew up fishing with my parents, and then yeah, parents, friends, and so on. So really like fishing. Anyways, let's move on. Other than Forge of Empires, what other games do you play? So at the moment, I don't actually play that many games. The other main game I play is probably Forge of Empires. No, that's the main game. League of Legends, which has been a bit on and off for, wow, 8 years actually. Started in 2014, played quite a lot then. Then since then, every now and then. And I do still play it every now and then. Mostly ARAM, if you know about the game, which is quite a chill, relaxed game mode, without really a lot of thinking or strategy or anything like that. All you are in one lane or one place, it's all fighting and stuff, so yeah, I quite like that, quite chill. I don't really play the main game, or haven't played the main game for ages. So that's my go-to game when I'm not playing Forge of Empires. Recently I also tried a bit of, what's it called? Frostpunk, I believe. Yeah, Frostpunk. It's kind of a city builder slash survival dystopia kind of thing. Which yeah, was really good. I quite enjoyed it. In fact, speaking of which, I did actually record it. I played 4 hours and decided why not record it. Haven't uploaded it. Not sure if I will, but that was quite fun. So yeah, who knows? Perhaps I will upload that one day. I do have it somewhere, but yeah, probably quite boring. So not sure how fun it will be. But yeah, that was quite fun. Another game I played not too long ago was Hollow Knight. Really enjoyed that. Big fan of the music, but but yeah. So yeah, outside of Forge of Empires, the main one I go to right now is League of Legends. But to be honest, I don't really play that much at the moment. I mainly do other things like, well, making videos takes quite a lot of time. Yeah, actually Nova. So I did give Frostpunk a try. Another friend of mine, I mentioned it probably a year or two ago, and back then I remember thinking it looked really cool, but then I just completely forgot about it. But then, probably from your comment on that live stream, I thought, oh, why not? I should give it a go. It was on sale as well, which was lucky, so I bought it, and I played for 4 hours a couple of weeks ago. Probably finished. I didn't finish it, so yeah, I'll probably continue someday on it. And yeah, I quite like it. I quite liked it. I did. I don't know. Perhaps I should have paid a bit more attention to I don't know, the tutorial or whatever. But I found the controls a bit confusing in the beginning, and a bit much to, or I don't know. Sometimes I was a bit confused about what or how I should do it. But yeah, other than that, I quite enjoyed it. I didn't die at least, so that's nice. Or I didn't lose the city. So yeah, perhaps I will upload that video. Who knows? But yeah. Anyways, let's move on. What do you do for fun besides code simulators? So, okay, so I guess what I do besides Forge of Empires, or besides making videos, because I do spend a decent amount of time on videos, preparing for those, playing the game and so on, keeping an eye on beta, quite enjoy that. So outside of all of that, well, as I mentioned, I quite like fishing, although as I mentioned, I do it, I don't know, 1 or 2 times every couple of weeks perhaps. Outside of that, I like watching all sorts of videos on YouTube, watching series, movies and all of that. I'm quite interested in various sports, for example, football / soccer, quite like following that. Mainly English soccer actually, the Premier League. Not yeah, the level in Norway is not the greatest, to say the least. So yeah, I'm watching that. I have been paying a bit of attention to the World Cup in Qatar, though of course definitely different light than previous World Cups. Although the matches themselves have been there's been quite a lot of upsets, which has been interesting. Although you can't really, enjoy it in the same way you could previous year. So I don't know, mixed feelings, but I do follow that a bit. I quite like following winter sports. At least I did. Right now it's a mess trying to find out where everything is shown. Because in the past, all of that was shown on the national broadcaster in Norway, similar to BBC. But now winter sports are spread all across different channels. I don't know where it goes, where it's shown. So that has kind of dampened my excitement for that. But yeah, I do quite like watching winter sports as well. Cross-country skiing, biathlon, ski jumping, ski flying and all of that. Really enjoy that. Yeah. So yeah. I'm definitely one of those guys that like sitting in I don't know, in my sofa or at my computer, relaxing with all sorts of different stuff. Not a big, I don't really go out a lot to the city or stuff like that. That's never been my thing. So yeah. All right. And staying on the topic of simulator, where did you gain your knowledge to create the simulation and tools? So I touched briefly on it a bit earlier on, but it's partly self-taught and partly things I learned at university. So I got my first introduction to programming at university. In the first semester, I think it was, I had a course on specifically object-oriented programming using Java, so that was my introduction. Then later on I was introduced to other sorts of programming, MATLAB, and then eventually Python, which is my main go-to language right now. I use it for all my simulators, I use it a bit at work. Another language I learned at university that I kind of transferred to Forge of Empires is JavaScript, which I used for my simulator here. That was all built on JavaScript. HTML and a bit like that, but yeah. And then I do also do PLS programming, if you know what that is, or PLC programming in English, Programmable Logic Controller, which is used in all sorts of automation, robots, machines, stuff like that. But yeah, so I was introduced to all of this at university, and that's kind of how I got familiar with it. But to be honest, most of, or where I learned the most was simply, watching videos on YouTube, searching for questions on YouTube when I had a specific question for the programming language and all of that. So that's mainly how I got all the knowledge I have when it comes to making simulations and tools and stuff like that. A mix of university and self-taught. But definitely not one of those self-taught guys that learned everything by themselves. I did get a lot of valuable information from, or valuable knowledge from the university. Alright, so now we move on, or move away a bit from questions about me to more questions related to Forge of Empires. Starting with this question from Bewitching Girl. Why did you start playing Forge of Empires? Just curious, most players have very different reasons. And while I answer, I would like to hear how you started playing, or why you started playing. You can write it in the chat. So, I don't know, I think mine might be quite a unique way of starting. Nice gizmo. Yeah, so that's one of the things I work with at work. Back in 2018, I think it was, I was still at the university. I think I was quite bored at the time. So I decided to try one of those websites where you play a game in exchange for some points which you can use in a store. I don't remember what it was called, the website, but I did a bit of that. Played all sorts of different games to earn a few points there. And I did end up earning quite a few points, actually. I was able to... But actually from that, I got a Steam gift card, which I used to buy the editing software that I'm using for these videos. But anyway, one of the games on that website was Forge of Empires. So the advertising definitely worked there for the game. So one of the games I could play on that website was Forge of Empires. It gave quite a lot of points, so of course I tried it. And yeah, I tried it, I liked it, and I continued playing. So that's how I started playing. It was through one of those websites where you could play games, reach certain points in the games in exchange for points that you could use in a store on that game, on that site. So yeah, I used that. I was able to earn enough points to buy, I think it was $50 worth of Steam gift cards, most of which I used for the editing software I use, which is it's Movie Studio Platinum, I think it's called. It's basically Sony Vegas, the evolution of that. Seen a colleague playing it during a break and decided to join them. Sick advanced then. Nice, Nova. Let's see. A friend told me to play it, says Louise. For me, it was during COVID lockdown. That's definitely probably one of the main reasons, I think. I found it somewhere on the internet and began playing. Alright. I created my account in the school PC. When I was a kid, I used to draw countries on a piece of paper and have wars between them. Nice. I would double the population of those countries every so often. When I saw photo empires, I thought it would be fun. Interesting. Erico. I started because my friend said it's much better than League of Legends, or at least much less toxic. After a few weeks, I got addicted and could never get rid of the addiction. Interesting. It's probably a lot less toxic on the for most players. If you're really competitive in the game, I've seen a lot of toxicity between players, but yeah, in general, probably less toxic than League of Legends. Although, as I mentioned, I do play a League of Legends myself. ARAM, not really toxic at all, so I can recommend that if you want a bit less toxicity from that game. So yeah, that's how I started playing. Alright, let's move on. So, first question here, how can you manage your time to have city on every world? And also, how do you manage to do game-life balance? Since I felt like in order to grow fast in this game, you need a lot of time. So this first question here, I imagine is probably because he has seen this, that I have a world on every, or city on every world. I don't. Or, I do, but I only play on U, T, and R, and I have passive diamond worlds on A, B, and C. All of these other ones I don't play on. So I play, or I have 6 worlds. I play actively on, well, at this point, I know, 1 or 2. I do still play on R, but not really that much. So yeah, I don't have a world on a city on every world. Personally, I'm not sure how I would balance it. Not sure, I definitely wouldn't have time, especially if I am making videos. And that's actually one of the main time consuming, or I don't know, how should I put it? I do spend a lot of time in the game, specifically for videos and stuff like that, or adjacently working on videos related to the games. So yeah, personally, I definitely couldn't find time to play on all. That would be way too much for me. As for the second question here, how do you manage to do a game-life balance? Since I felt like in order to grow fast in this game, you need a lot of time. So it really depends on your objectives. So growing fast, it depends on what you mean by fast. So the fastest way to grow is by doing a lot of guild battlegrounds and stuff like that. But you don't have to. If you just take it a little bit slower, you focus on events, which you have 1 event per month roughly, and usually it doesn't take that much time. You do have to spend a bit of time to get through the quests, but then usually, with a few exceptions of course, it just takes a couple of minutes to play through the event. And same here on this new world here. I don't play, or I am on every day of course, but I feel like I have a decent pace of progress, but I don't play every day. I don't play, I don't know, actively, or I play every day, but I don't play. I don't know, how should I put it? I don't do. I'm not sure how to put it, to be honest, but I do do a bit of stuff every day. I do a bit of guild expedition most days and stuff like that, but I don't spend hours on guild expedition or stuff like that. I spend a few minutes here and there, and yeah, it really doesn't take that much. So yeah. And how do you manage the game-life balance? Well, me personally, as I mentioned, on my free time, I prefer being at home, watching videos, watching movies, series, all of that, watching sports games and stuff like that. And I have basically 2 monitors, so I can have the game stuff and all of that on one monitor sitting there passively, do a bit every now and then, while the main thing I do is just relax, do fun stuff on the other monitor. So yeah, that's kind of how I balance it. Having 2 monitors definitely helps. And of course I can use the phone as well. I don't use the phone a lot, but I can if I want to. So that's how I balance it. I prioritize what I want to. So I'm not actively playing in Guild Battlegrounds. I'm playing a bit every now and then, but I don't actively participate. I have dropped Guild Battlegrounds. Did that, well, 3 years ago, to be honest. So yeah, I've dropped Guild versus Guild. It takes too long. Or, no, it doesn't take too long, but yeah, I kind of lost interest in it. And it's another time sink that I can do without. I prioritize. For example, here on this world, I'm not actively doing as much as I did previously. I'm not doing Guild GE4 every day, all of that. Yeah. And personally, for me, I find more joy in, well, I find more joy in paying attention to beta, keeping an eye here. I enjoy making videos. I enjoy theory crafting, making simulators, stuff like that. So I also focus more on that than other stuff like playing. I really enjoyed going for higher 8 unit. I still really enjoy. I'm probably having the most fun fighting here on Space Age Mars out of all the previous provinces, so I'm really enjoying that. But it's not that big of a time sink, doesn't take that much, so yeah. Yeah, this is a new world. It started 2 months ago, I want to say, or 2.5 months ago, perhaps. It started 72 days ago, so basically a bit under 2.5 months ago. So yeah, that's why that's why all of these are empty. I haven't really checked, but here, for example, all of this is grayed off, so people would have to, if people wanted to go down, either these guys would continue going down, or we would continue going down, or a new guild would have to start from here and go all the way down. So yeah, and similar thing here, I imagine. Actually, there is kind of healthy board there, it looks like, but yeah. Here, for example, all of this is blocked off by these guilds. Someone could land here if they really wanted to. Wouldn't be a problem, but yeah. That's why a lot of these are grayed out, because other guilds haven't been able to, or don't want to go in there quite yet. So yeah, it's a new world. Anyways, let's move on. What is your favorite event/event mechanics? So this is probably no surprise, but might be a bit controversial. So my favorite event, I've never been quite sure which one I prefer, but my 2 favorites at least is St. Patrick's Day event and the wildlife event. And the main reasons I enjoy those is because strategy/tactics actually matter. In most events, it doesn't really matter. It does have a small impact, especially on how many rewards you can get and stuff like that. But in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't really have that big of an impact. But in St. Patrick's Day and wildlife event, playing optimally or playing well plays a big role, and you can get a lot more rewards by playing well. They do take a lot more time, of course, but yeah, I do quite enjoy them. St. Patrick's Day event, I think I prefer the mechanics of the wildlife event, but I have I don't know, a more personal, sounds a bit cheesy, but relationship with the St. Patrick's Day event because of my videos and all of that. That's, I don't know, what kind of made my channel really grow was the wildlife event, St. Patrick's Day event. I believe, actually, let me find something real quick. Hang on a moment. 2 seconds. Don't mind me, just finding something. Alright, so here are my lifetime views for my channel. I actually just passed 2.2 million views, which is quite nice. Actually, let me make sure you can see that. You can't fully. So this is my lifetime views on my channel. This and this. St. Patrick's Day 2020, 21 and 2022. That's terrible writing. Anyways, St. Patrick's Day event 2021, St. Patrick's Day event 2022. So yeah, it has had a big impact on my channel. That's my most popular videos and stuff like that. I really enjoyed working on the spreadsheet. I spent way too long on the spreadsheet I made for the event, but I really find it funny. Not funny. I really find it fascinating and interesting to make. So yeah, St. Patrick's Day event really quite nice for my channel at least, and yeah, really big for my channel, and I quite like the mechanics myself and all of that. So yeah, I would probably still put St. Patrick's above, and then wildlife below that probably. And this might also be controversial or unpopular, but I quite enjoy Halloween and archaeology. Quite enjoy the mechanics there as well. There also your play has a relatively big role to play, so those are probably my favorite 2 or 3 events. Oh, sorry. So yeah, the way I'm doing this, I just have a Windows image thingy, and I have that on my screen, my second monitor. So yeah, that's my favorite event mechanics. So favorite event probably St. Patrick's, favorite event mechanics probably wildlife, I would say. Alright, and then, kind of in a similar, Nova, your question. If you had the option to make a new event, what would it be and play like, and what would it reward? So this is something that I probably should, or I would like to think more on, and probably make a video like the settlement suggestion I made a while back. That must have been a long time ago actually, probably over a year, or perhaps earlier this year. No, that must have been 2 years ago. Yeah, that was 2 years ago, I think. Because I was still at the university when I made it. Anyways, so yeah, I would like to make a video sometime in the future, similar to what I did for the Atlantis settlement suggestion I made. So yeah, I'm not gonna give a full answer on what I would make because I haven't had enough time to think about it. But one thing I would like would be to reintroduce, not necessarily historical events, but something similar to that, which are much shorter in duration, and that you simply play through once and then you're done. Yeah, the Atlantis settlement. So I would like the return of something like that. I don't think it will, because the current event system is much more profitable. They couldn't really make any profit off the last one. But I would like something like that back. Yeah. And I think I would like them to kind of mix it up. I think an event without event quests would be nice. Where there's no real event currency, you simply play through some sort of challenge or minigame or whatever without the event quests. I think that would be fun. Don't think they will. I think they're settled with the mechanics they have now and just gonna continue using those, which is a shame. But yeah. And what would it reward for that specific part? Well, probably no surprise, but I would quite like a new set building. I do enjoy my set buildings. They're usually quite good in lower ages as well, so nothing wrong with that. So yeah, I think I would like a new set building of some sort. Exactly how it would work, I don't know. Yeah. It would be for new players also. Yeah. So yeah, that's probably what I would do. Alright, then we have this question from Arkler from Discord. If you worked at Inno and they gave you free hand to change an existing feature, what would be the number one thing on your mind? How about a new feature? So, good question. There are a lot of things I would like to change. I think though, probably the probably the most or the simplest one that would have a big impact would be an overhaul of the army management. That's something I really would like to see, because I'm not a big fan of the current army management. It's way too cumbersome to get the unit you want, all of that. So I would like an overhaul of the army management screen. A lot of good suggestions have been already brought forward in various forms. Stacking units, for example, that's a bit topical as well from beta. But yeah, stacking units, for example, templates, or how should you call it? Already prepared units that you can, or selections that you can, with one click you can get one army or the army you want. So one click for this army, for example, and then another click below it for, I don't know, for this combination and so on. So stuff like that. I think that would be really nice. What else? I like the filtering here. Oh, not really, but I like the idea of filtering. Preset armies, there we go, that's the name. I like the idea of the filtering here, but it's not really that helpful. It usually takes longer, and I don't think it's remembered. Or it's remembered a bit, but not. Is it consistent across reloads, for example? It is, okay. Okay, perhaps it is consistent. I thought it wasn't fully, but yeah, some sort of better filtering at least, or multiple filters at the same time. So, for example, you have, especially when you're fighting with rogues, it takes some time first selecting the main unit, then finding the rogues and stuff like that. So being able to, for example, say that in this slot you always have a rogue, in this slot always artillery and so on, that you're able to select where you want all of these units, so that they're not simply sorted by type, but you can mix and match a bit. All sorts of different sorting options that I think would be a big help, would make selecting units a lot better, easier. Especially on mobile, because they are dragging the units, that's really slow. So if you have presets, or all that, you would minimize that time. And might even make fighting on mobile faster, because with more fingers, you can probably... Mobile version resets all of that. Okay, that's it. Okay, so the mobile version. But yeah, so army presets, for example, might even make mobile fighting faster than browser, because you have multiple fingers. So with one finger you can click the fight buttons, and the other one you can click where the army preset is. So yeah, I don't know, army presets, stacking units, all sorts of stuff to make the army management a lot better, easier to use. I think that would probably be the main thing that isn't that big of that isn't that big, because I could, for example, say overhaul guild versus guild, but that's a really big one that might be too much work. But the army management, I think it would require some work still, of course, but I think it's a much more achievable rework. So I think that's the main thing I would like to see. Of course, other things are also a bit broader, like be a bit more creative with events, change things up more, don't simply repeat everything, don't copy paste everything every time. Same with ages, which, if I remember correctly, no, okay, never mind. There's a question later on about ages, we'll get back to it. But yeah, be more creative. That's another thing that I would change if I had the possibility to. So yeah, I think army management would be one of the main things. Alright, moving on. What are your best tips for growing a guild pretty much alone? So, first of all, I guess there are kind of two ways to interpret this. The way I would interpret this would be a solo guild that you're playing by yourself. The other one, I don't suppose, could be that you're in a relatively dead guild. You are pretty much the only one that pull everything together. So my main tips, well, my first tip would it would be to find a guild with a lot of other people, because if you're starting a new guild with the aim of growing, I don't think you have your priorities right. Starting your solo guild, there are perfectly valid reasons for it, but I don't think growing is one of them. For example, being not sure if this is a universal name, but on my server we would call it ghosting. On the GVG, some players from other guilds would create a solo guild. That way they could kick or attack us with multiple guilds at the same time. So they would have a few solo players and they would attack us in guild versus guild. So that's one reason why you could do it, but that's not because you want to grow by yourself or anything like that. Good night, Siba. So yeah, that's for example a reason why you would want to be in a solo guild or a small guild. But yeah, but if you're talking about growing or growing the guild, I wouldn't. I would find a bigger guild. And that way, it's a lot easier to grow. If you want to have control over the guild yourself, you can always start it, but I wouldn't start it with the goal or intention of making it a solo guild. If your goal is to grow a guild, that way, if you start one yourself, I would invite other players, perhaps make it open in the beginning. So yeah, I wouldn't start a solo guild with the intention of growing the guild. I think that's the wrong mindset. If you still are going to go solo, I don't really have that much to say except play actively, complete guild expedition, which you need three players, I think it is, to appear in the rankings there. So you might want 3 players then, but at least do guild expedition, do guild battlegrounds. I'm not sure how far you can go, but you can probably still do quite a bit. A guild versus guild, you can be quite successful, or at least you can have a lot of fun on the guild versus guild map. So that might help a bit as well. But yeah, the main way to grow the guild would be to simply play all the guild related events or stuff. Guild expedition, guild battlegrounds, guild versus guild. And perhaps also get, well, if you're in a solo guild, then perhaps an arc would be enough, but perhaps get some, I don't know, statue of honors and stuff like that as well. But yeah, in general, I wouldn't advise going for solo guilds. That was my mindset early on as well in the game. I started out, I didn't want to be in a big guild, I wanted to go for myself, but then someone, I don't know, persuaded me to join a guild, and, well, I'm in the same guild right now, on this world still, for 4 years later, 4.5 years later. So yeah, I don't recommend going alone. I recommend either starting your own and inviting more players, although my main recommendation would be to just find a good guild you want to stay in, with good players and so on. So yeah, I wouldn't advise going alone. Anyways, moving on. I'm trying to help lower level guildmate. What are some good tips and tricks to progress in the game? I know you've adjusted this before, but the game seems to be changing so much. So, the best way to advance in the game, well, forge of events. It's as simple as that. Play events. That's the main tip. Play events, get event buildings. Early on, you might focus on event buildings that give you a lot more early on. For example, set buildings are usually good there. Chain buildings are usually good early on. Bigger buildings like the State of Ages, for example, are good early on. In general, play events, get the main building, get other event buildings. That's a really good way to grow early on. Another good way to grow early on is to play as much guild battlegrounds as possible, as much guild expedition as possible. Those two are really good. Guild versus guild doesn't really help much on a personal level early on, or it doesn't really help at all on a personal level, but of course it can be fun if they want to play it. But yeah, play events, play guild battlegrounds, play guild expedition. Probably in that order of importance, but ideally all. So yeah, that's the main thing. Of course, settlements also have really good rewards, so you can play those as well. not that big or as important as events, because you don't get that many buildings. You get one main building for each event, and of course some other smaller buildings. So it's good, but not as good. So yeah, just actively play events and so on. And of course, another way that I think is really good for early progress is going for higher rate units. I have guides here on my website. You can go, you can use, you have Uber helps on the US forum as well. So yeah, going for higher rate units can really help you out. This world here is only a bit over a year old, and I can basically fight forever in guild battlegrounds. I can go through auto fight the entire guild expedition without any issues at all. So yeah, going for higher rate units, it's not actually that hard. It only takes time. It doesn't really take a lot of effort, especially if you follow all the recommendations in my guides or Uberhelp's guide. It's really easy actually. Much easier than I thought starting. It might seem like a daunting task, but if you just follow the steps, it's not actually that difficult. And once you start getting these high rate units, a lot of stuff becomes a lot easier. Event quests, guild expedition, guild battleground and so on, which also allows you to grow faster. So perhaps that would be my one suggestion: go for higher rate units. It really does help early on. So yeah, those are some tips and tricks, I suppose, on advancing. And then I think this is the last. Yep, this is the last question I had ahead of time. If you had to make a new age, or I suppose if you got to make a new age, because I would quite like to try at least, what would it be like? So that's of course a big topic. I've been quite vocal, I think, on my channel as well. But I've been quite vocal that I don't like the direction of the last, well, I suppose 3 ages, but I don't like the direction. I'm not hopeful for Space Age Jupiter Moon. No, wait, that's the current age. I'm not hopeful for Space Age Titan, or whatever it ends up being called. I imagine it will be another Space Age Mars copy, and I'm not happy about that at all. I don't like the direction. I thought the idea with Space Age Mars, with the colony, was nice, but the execution was terrible. Or not terrible, but it wasn't fun, because basically you just ended up ignoring the settlement or a colony after a while. So nice in theory, but the implementation wasn't good, and they haven't made any changes in the 3 following ages. I don't expect them to make any changes here in the Space Age Titan, which is a real shame. I quite liked the changes they made for, I'll go here, for the Arctic future, then Oceanic future. Virtual future was quite interesting. It was a bit interesting with the continent map. The fights there were quite interesting. The first Space Age was quite alright, but beyond that, visuals are great as always, but you simply don't play. Yeah, so I would like to see that mixed up, and I don't think they will go for it, but I wouldn't be opposed to a very small but a permanent second city. So, okay, so hear me out. No, or not second city, but second grid of that you can place buildings on. So, what I would think would be interesting, and it doesn't have to be like this, but I think it would be interesting. We have now gone out into space. I think it would be interesting if you go back inside and dig into the Earth instead of going out. So I think I've mentioned it before, but for example, deep ocean, so deep below the ocean, for example, it might be a bit similar to Oceanic, but well, all the space ages are the same regardless, so that doesn't matter. But yeah, for example, deep down in the ocean, or for example, deep Earth, or inside a cave, for example, deep inside the cave, inside the Earth. And inside here, perhaps you could have a second, very small grid that you can also build buildings on for your main city, perhaps. Might be a bit too much, but I think that will be something to spice things up and kind of, I don't know, spice things up in the higher ages or the the higher ages, because right now a lot of people simply don't care, I think, about the new age. It's something they have to go through. Some new units might be interesting for a week, but then it's back to the old grind of just playing. But I think if you had possibly a second, very small, but a second that would expand a bit by each age, but a second permanent city, I think that would be cool, or a second permanent grid. Similar in idea to this, but permanent instead, and you can build main city buildings in it. I think it would be, I think that would be nice. I also wanted to see if we would cross the lake or river. Yeah, that's another thought, crossing to the other side somewhere here. But yeah, I'm thinking perhaps that you dig a tunnel, for example, in here, and you have a city just below the earth here, or below your main city, so a level below it. That's kind of what I had in my mind. Didn't explain that that's great just now, but yeah, something below, or one step below the city, for example, or for example one step above the city, which not quite the same as the colonies, but yeah, some I guess layers of the city. I still think this main city should be by far the biggest focus, but I think something like that would be interesting. It might be interesting if that level, for example, you weren't able to plunder that, for example, if you plunder a city, and that way, if you keep it small enough, you would have interesting kind of challenge of which buildings do you want to protect from plundering, and those you can put in the level below, while all the other ones are. It's not that plundering is a big topic at all, especially in these ages, but yeah, it might be something to spice it up a little bit. So yeah, something at least. And even if they are going for space ages, I think they could make it a lot more fun. For example, the idea here with the terminals, why not expand that? Say for example that in the colony here, to produce goods, you had 5 terminals, 1 for each goods type. And to produce those goods, you somehow, related to your city, the resources you produce there or something like that, you use those to start the excavation or whatever in the colony. And you have 5 of those, for example. So instead of the same mechanic of having the sites here to produce the special good, say you produce all of those goods here, or produce the goods, and then perhaps a special one to produce the special goods, something like that. So, I don't know, spice it up. Make the colony more important if you are going for the another space age. Make the colony more important. Shift more of the mechanics to the colony. Make it so that you actually want to play it instead of it just being a separate city to, I don't know, to place some buildings in that you don't use. Actually, basically make it a settlement that you can make it a settlement, I guess, in a way that you have to actually play the settlement. You have unique resources in the settlement, kind of similar to the idea of the credits here, but make it more involved, more, I don't know, complex, more. You have to think more about it. You have to prioritize which goods and stuff like that. You could still have deposits if you want to, so you can boost some of them or not. Something to spice things up. For example, have colony-specific units. That might be fun. So that you produce colony-specific units similar to the Egypt settlement, and you use those to produce goods or special goods and so on. I don't know, spice things up, make something new and interesting. And if you worry about, well, not everybody wants to fight, or it might be too complicated, come on. This is the, 20th age? It takes years to get here. If you do ever come here, you know how things work, you are an established player, you are a seasoned player, you can handle a bit of complexity. You don't have to make everything as simple as possible, especially all the way up here in these ages. It can be complicated, it can be hard, it can be challenging. That's perfectly fine. I think people would like it. Who knows, I might be wrong. People might just want the same old, same boring stuff, and just focus on events and guild battlegrounds and stuff. But I would definitely like to see an age where you actually can play it for more than a week before everything is done. Anyways, perhaps I'll make another video on that as well in the future, going a bit more detail or thinking it through a bit more. But yeah, something that I don't know, a bit more. I don't know. I want complexity. I want more challenge. I want more. I don't know, not quite sure how to put it, but yeah, that's what I want. Anyways, do you guys have any thoughts on what you would like to see? I can hide that now. That's the final question I had prepared. So yeah. Let's see. Gizmo. My friend and I started our own guild and it is now some 24 members strong, and we are GPG Diamond League. We are a teaching guild. Yeah, so there you go. You definitely can start your own guild if you want to. But yeah. Alright, so that's all the pre-prepared questions I have, but if you do have any questions for me, feel free to ask now in the comments. The small city extension sounds really fun. Yeah, I think it would be, yeah. It would have to be balanced right, of course, but I think they could do it. Do you have any tips for the Japan settlement? Well, Japan, that's a good question. It's the only one, right, that I haven't made videos on. So I guess my main tip would be... let's just start it. So, my main tip would be that after you unlock the merchant, you do all the negotiations, so from here you do negotiations and you unlock some of these later expansions here. Hopefully you get the right goods in the market and you're able to buy some of these expansions early on. So you want to buy expansions as cheaply as possible and as many as possible early on. So yeah, that's kind of the main tip. Other than that, it's just simply playing through it. Similar to Vikings. You do have the impediments, which are annoying, so you have to plan around those. In this world, for example, I would probably go for these expansions up here. I think I can handle that. A bit annoying with this and this and this, but a big open area up here, some nice open area here as well. So I think I would probably go for these expansions. So yeah, and I believe, if I remember correctly, you go for 2 expansions each of these goods, so 8 in total, I believe. Don't quote me on it, but I believe it is 2. So yeah, play as much, or do the merchant, sorry, complete the merchant negotiations each day. You unlock it, I believe it is on day 1, not quite sure. But yeah, after you unlock it, suppose it's in ancient Japan, but perhaps not. Feudal Japan, there we go. So huts, soybean. Okay, yeah, so you need to get the gallery, which is... okay, it's that one. So yeah, you need... that's probably day 2 of the settlement, I think. Yeah, day 2 or 3, depending on the settlement. You get the gallery, then you can start using the merchant and get the... and I think, if I remember correctly, don't get any... what's this? Soy. Don't buy any soy expansions. Wait until you get the merchant and you can unlock some of these with the later goods here. So I think that's main things. Do you have a list of Forge of Empires best practices that I can pass along to my guildmates? I think that would be a very handy guide. Did you ask that earlier? I don't have such a list. No, so I don't. You can probably... I think you can find some good guides on the wiki here. Is it possible to sort by popularity? Beginner's guide. Perhaps this one. Uber help is uber helpful. Quite nice. So this is probably a good guide, I imagine. But yeah, no, I don't really. Do you have any preference on old GPG or new GPG? I know at the moment I prefer the new GPG, especially in New City, with coins and supplies, etc. The new maps. Yeah, I definitely prefer. I definitely prefer the new map. The rewards are better. I like the main building more. As for the, I don't really think the mechanics or anything like that plays a big role, but I do enjoy the new one better. Mainly because of the reward. The coins and supplies, yeah, that's one of the big things, really helpful. Depending on your situation, of course. In this city, I don't need that at all. But on both of these, actually, especially now when I need a lot of coins for the continent map, the coins really are helpful there. So yeah, no, I prefer the new one by far. Much prefer that compared to the old one. How are we doing here? Don't think I have this ready now. No, okay, 8 hours, so that'll be tomorrow for me to do. Oh, that reminds me. Speaking of tomorrow, not sure if I will have the... Sorry. Not sure if I will have the video ready tomorrow. But I can share it at least. So, on beta, you might wonder, how on earth do we get all of these images here? I'm gonna make a video going over how. And I also just uploaded this yesterday to GitHub. This is some scripts I've made that I use myself to get images or get assets and stuff from the beta server. So check that out if you are interested. It's quite technical, so if you don't know anything about programming or stuff, you can use it without, but might be a bit confusing. So we'll cover it in that video. Again, not sure if it'll be out tomorrow, but yeah, something you can have a look at if you want to. But yeah, one more question. Pineapple on pizza, yes or no? It's a big no for me. I really don't like pineapple on pizza. One of the places we used to, or my mom quite like pineapple on pizza, so when we would order pizza, it would usually be split in half, in two, one part with pineapple, one without, and every now and then I would get a piece of pineapple on my pizza without realizing, and it was a horrible feeling eating it. It's just disgusting, so I don't get how people like it. So yeah, no, definitely not for me. Do you think they will discontinue the old map? No, I don't, and don't want them to. I want them to add more maps. Or part of me wants them to add more maps, but at the same time, that would also dilute the number of maps. Or dilute... it would take longer to get all the rewards you want. Because with 2 maps now, it takes twice as long to level up these big the guild buildings, or the buildings, reward buildings, so... But yeah, I would like them to add more maps, but perhaps consolidate the rewards, keep all of them, or the new maps perhaps use one of the old rewards, but perhaps I will just add new rewards and we'll have to deal with it. Anyways. Hello there, John. Hello, MooingCat. How are you today? I'm doing quite alright. Congrats again for 10,000 subs. Thank you. Keep up the good work. And do something else, not only the game. Also, can you tell me a tip how to complete the Viking settlement more quicker? Well, I would check out my videos on YouTube. Let me see if I can find them real quick. It's been a long time. Because, yeah, to be honest, I don't remember too much from it. So what I would do... Let me quickly share this. I would check out my videos. That's a full playthrough where I, actually with live commentary, recorded a bit every day with live commentary, commentating on what I was doing. So I would follow something like that. So yeah, I would do something like that. Don't really have any like tips and tricks on how to get it really fast, because you can't really do much more than just collect on time, be as active as possible, and so on. Yeah, I can do a few city reviews, why not? So, if you would like me to have a look at your city, let me know. What world and server do you play on, Charlie? I just started at Diamond City. Are there any daily prizes I should get from the current event? Yeah, there are Wishing Well shrink kits, so you can use those. Although, don't expect to get any Wishing Wells anytime soon from events, so you would have to go get those elsewhere. But yeah, you can go for those. Yeah, you can use those. Let's see. I do remember someone asked earlier for me to have a look at their city. Let me just quickly go through the chat, see if I can find it. Let's see. I also need the world, Charlie. The world you play on. Because there are a lot of different worlds on the US server. Let's see. Yeah, I think you asked earlier first, so I'll go. Michael, what world are you on? So I need both the world and the server you play on. Alright, and I guess I need to do a couple of tutorials. Overhaul. Hey. But yeah, let's get going. I probably need to, I need to log in. Okay. But yeah, I'll have a look at yours. International, alright. Alright. Es gibt ein Problem beim Aufbauen der Server bei mir. Oh! So looks like Germany has some server issues. Perhaps. Let's try again. Okay, there we go. Yeah, it took some time, but now I was able to log in. But yeah, I do have to play through the tutorial. So let's do a bit of multitasking, and let's do multiple at the same time. So that's one. Again. So that one I have. Romania 2, I might have that. Let's have a quick look. Romania. No, I don't. Okay, so Romania numero dos. I have to go through the tutorial here as well. So that's 2. But we can do more. Let's also. So yes, yeah, MooingCatFoE here. So Charlie, do you mean A, Arvhal, or I'm talking about O, Autre? because there's no overhaul. We have Energetic Boy on NL F. Probably have to play the tutorial there as well. Top left, okay, Arval. So I can do 4 tutorials at the same time. Let's also do Netherlands. Let's go, where is it? There we go, Netherlands. I'm just on my second monitor logging in. I actually have that world, so I don't have to go through the tutorial there. There was someone who supposedly got the new tutorial in game. No, oh really? Well, there's plenty on beta, but I haven't seen any actual footage of it, so I would definitely love to see that if you have it, or share it on the here, because I don't think it has been. I don't think anything is added here, so if you find whatever you were talking about, now this is a couple of weeks ago. So yeah, if you find that, let me know, because I would quite like to have a look. Alright, so let's do it like this. That's a bit annoying. Okay, there we go. What's in Discord? Let me try. Yeah, so yeah, share it on Discord or on and/or on the beta forum. I might have missed it, but I do, yeah, do basically look at everything on the Discord. So I don't remember seeing it, but perhaps you're talking about a different Discord channel. And yeah, in case you are wondering why I'm doing this, to be able to actually have a look at someone's city, I do need to play through the tutorial on that world. So yeah, the live stream chat is blocked. The one. Oh, don't worry, don't worry. This isn't. You're not missing anything here. And when I do the actual review, I will not do it like this. I will go full screen. So don't worry about that. This is just temporarily while I play through the tutorials. You're not missing anything. Yeah, doing it all at the same time definitely does speed things up quite a bit. Because yeah, especially with animations like these, take a bit of time. You can do all of them at the same time. And by the way, I'm sorry for the chair making some noises. I noticed it in one of my latest videos. There were quite a lot of chair noise. Perhaps I need to, I don't know, try to look at that. So yeah, sorry for that. Yeah, the beta channel. Alright, yeah, I'll have a look after the stream. Or, okay, I guess I can have a look in a moment on stream as well. Okay. 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 Go. And here we go. Find someone. This is definitely the boring part of this, but luckily it only takes a couple of minutes. Okay. And yeah, after this we also have to go through the fighting, but then we're good. How's your cold? Better? Yeah, I'm better now. Right now I'm a bit thirsty, but otherwise I'm alright. Charlie, you get those back, you get those from the quest, so you're not actually spending any diamonds, but you do have to spend them. And if you don't spend them on the longhouses, you don't actually get the diamonds. They're not added to your account, so you can't keep them. Alright, almost there. Almost there now. There we go. Go. And there we go. I see that the new cache stuff is affecting this, it looks like. Let's finish off these fights. And yeah, after this, I'm ready to go, fortunately. And then I can start looking at the cities. Okay, okay. And okay, there we go. So, the Netherlands won, they beat us here. Yeah, I did look at that match. So perhaps then, because the Netherlands won, perhaps we should have a look at that first. There we go. So yeah, as a reward for winning, let's look at Energy Boy first. Why not? I'll look at through all of your cities, and then yeah, that'll be it for today. Ooh. Cute energetic boy. MooingCat, have you ever tried to create a world, get the diamonds, and go back to your main world? It doesn't work. I've tried it a few times. Or I've tried it. Yeah, it doesn't work. See it. So yeah, let me see, what was your name? Oh, are you on the Belgian server? Is that Dutch? A Dutch server? Oh, I see. Yeah, speaking Dutch in... Okay, I see. But yeah, cute energetic. Okay, cute energetic boy. There we go. Alrighty. So, quite an early city, it looks like. Early Middle Ages. Alright. So, first thing I noticed, really nice with this chain building. As I mentioned a bit earlier, chain buildings are generally very nice early on. Although, quite wasteful to have it connected by a road here. Have all of these connected by roads. So, I would move this, possibly to where the town hall is. So move the main building to where the town hall is, then have all of these chain buildings go down here, for example, and then without connecting any roads to the main or to the chain building here. So you do like this on both sides of it. That would be the main thing I would update. Another thing, slightly more minor thing. All of these slave builders, quite like them, of course. They're good buildings, but try to connect them on the shortest side if possible. So perhaps somewhere in your city have a horizontal road like this, but a bit longer, and connect all of these on the above and below that, or on one side of it. Because yeah, a bit, not that big of a deal, but slightly wasteful to have the roads on the longer sides here. In general, don't have roads on the longer side. Here as well, a little bit inefficient with these buildings, or roads on both buildings of these roads on both sides of these buildings. There we go. Sorry. Yeah, that's a bit inefficient, so try to avoid that. And then I think the final thing when it comes to the layout, you have a lot of roads here with the relic temple. So I would try to end into it with one road. Let me see if I can show an example. Do I have an example here? Yeah, so here for example, with the sunflower oil press, I'm only connecting it by one road here. So I only have this one road going into it. And here, yeah, I have some inefficiency here with the long sides here. So I had some 3x3 buildings, now I have 3x4, so a bit inefficient. I'll update that eventually. But yeah, try to end into the relic temple, for example, with one road. That's something you can try to do. In fact, one thing you could do with your town hall would be something like this, where you have your town hall, one road, and then 2 or 3 big buildings like this next to it, connected by only this road. That's a really efficient way to connect the big buildings to your town hall. Let me see. So you could try to do that with, for example, the relic temple, the Koa, and for example the Fiora village. That might be a good way. I notice you have a few. Is this for guild versus guild? The archers, the archer barracks. If they are, that's perfectly fine to keep them. If not, then I would probably, or depending on how far you've gotten in the research, I would try to replace those with the mounted archers, because they are a lot better to fight with, I think, in general. So yeah, I would probably swap those, unless you're using them for guild versus guild, in which case it's perfectly fine. So yeah, I think that would be my main tips for this city. A bit to work on, but in general quite nice with some good event buildings. To try and lower age groups. Oh, I see, like that, yeah. Yeah, 1 age lower, I suppose. Yeah, okay, that's quite alright. Yeah. Yeah, okay. Fine. That's good. Yeah, that's quite an interesting thought. Of course, if you don't need any age-specific units, you can just use Spear Fighter Barracks, recruits in 10-20 seconds. But of course, if you need to recruit either recurrent or lower age, the archers are quite a nice one. So yeah, that will be my main tips for your city. So unless you have any other questions, let me move on to Jamie, if you are still around. Let me find the right window. So here we go. Actually, I just want to quickly see how much you get, because I remember talking about it a bit in our video. Okay, so it's 6,500, and then the reason why I'm looking is because we did have some... just a quick aside. Shop editions. So we did have some, looks like some new stuff here. So, okay, so it looks like these might be changed out a bit then. So right now we have 2,000 here. That might be swapped out, or perhaps an additional one for 3,500. Or it looks like this one, judging by the cost here, would be the 3,500 one, which would be a big drop in diamonds. unless you get a lot more per day. Because the way this works is you get 6,500 diamonds right away, and then 750 per day after that, for 7 days. Interesting. I'm not quite sure why these give vastly different numbers of... Anyways, that's not important now. I just wanted to quickly have a look at that. Anyways, let's go to Charlie. Charlie. And then I'll go to Jamie Mariarty. So, Charlie. Rogue ones. Alright. Interesting. Wouldn't generally advise it, but it does look quite cool to have such a stretched out city. In general, you do want to keep a rectangular city, as rectangular as possible. Not necessarily a square, but yeah, you do want to keep it a rectangle, and in general not too much longer than it's wide. But yeah, it's an interesting look. But of course, by doing this, it's quite clear here in this example, in this city, Charlie, it's quite inefficient. Because, for example, on top here, all of these roads up here, you're only connecting buildings on one side of them, which is quite wasteful. Similar here, only one buildings on one side. Here, these roads here surrounding the buildings. You definitely can improve this a bit, but yeah, it's a bit wasteful or that's in general why having these long and very thin stretches isn't generally advised. But yeah, going forward, you can easily fill in these tiles there and continue working your way down as you progress. Rectangular is beautiful. That's an FOE best practice. Yeah, definitely. And personally, I prefer having it longer in this direction, because in general there are more buildings with the shortest side in that direction. But yeah. Another thing, I see that you have, for example, this, the stonemason, the ebony woodworks, goods buildings from lower ages. In general, I would try to keep goods buildings on here, for example, the lumber mill. I would try to keep good buildings of your age, perhaps the age below, but I wouldn't go much more below that. I would try to, yeah, mainly produce goods buildings of, let's say, your current age and the age below, and then try to trade for whatever else you're missing if you do need lower age goods. Let's see. I also notice here you have a few event buildings that you haven't fully completed. Of course, if you are just a casual player, nothing wrong. Although, do try to complete them. And in upcoming events, or when the event comes around, you can also try to complete it done with the daily specials. So yeah, I think what I would do probably, I would go into reconstruction mode, strip everything, and then start planning out. Try to keep buildings of the same size, or place buildings of the same size in one row or one column. So for example, you try to place all your 3x3 buildings up here, for example, then a road below it, and then below there perhaps you have a bunch of 2x2 buildings and so on. And yeah, try to be a bit more organized and keep the building of the same size in the same place. That usually helps in, yeah, bringing out more efficiency. So yeah. And then just keep picking up event buildings and try to complete event buildings if you're able to. That definitely helps. So yeah. I think he said, but he shouldn't have the roads like that. Yeah, I did mention that. Having roads on the outer side of a city is generally not good. Because you're only able to connect buildings on one side of it. So yeah, generally not something you want to do. Try to stick to buildings from the last 1 or 2 ages. Same with houses. You are now in high Middle Ages. Or perhaps you haven't unlocked yet, but you might want to replace these eventually with current age houses. Or ideally, eventually replace all houses with event buildings. You should be able to get enough population from those. I would also try, eventually, to get an arc up and running. See if you can find some help in your guild. And yeah, see if you are able to find blueprints and goods for that. That's definitely one of those buildings you want to start thinking about at this stage of the game. Level 4, level 3, alright. And the Sue is here at level 4. So yeah, I have high middle age building goods, and also I trade them the bronze age with my guild. Okay, I see. Well yeah, if you're doing it for a guild, then that's fine. Yeah, I'm sure people will like you for that. If your guild needs it, so yeah, that's fine. So yeah. I have an arc ready to build, but I don't know when would be a good time. Basically as soon as possible, I think. Yeah, I think you should build your arc as soon as you can. Don't see any reason to wait. Or I guess it depends. If you really want to progress to the next stage, then you might want to save or spend your force points on that and then build the arc. But if you have the resources, I would just build it right away and start working on it. Yeah, I would build it. Alright, let me see. So yeah, I think in general, try to organize the city a bit more. Try to keep buildings on the same size, the same places. That usually helps. Avoid having roads on the outer sides. You want to have roads, or you want to connect buildings on both sides of a road. You also don't want to surround buildings by roads. That's also inefficient. Like on that side, and also here, you're surrounding buildings with roads. That's also not good. And try to work a bit more on, if you have the time, of course, try to complete event buildings. But yeah. Alright, so yeah, unless you have any other questions, I think I will move on, because I'm starting to get a bit tired. I will go through all of these, but yeah, not going to be streaming for too much longer. Let's have a look at Jamie Mariarty on DE. Here we go. Hello there, Penny Boop. Welcome to the stream. Lucky Fighters. Space Aid Asteroid Belt. 2 seconds. Alright, so let's have a look here. Alright, first of all, we can bring this back to, who was it? It was UC, I think. So here we can see the chain building connecting the main building here with a road, but all of these chain pieces here are not connected to a road. So that's a really efficient way to do it. Save a lot of roads by doing it this way. Flying Island is new. Not sure if I'm not delete it again, because I actually want to focus on attack more. Yeah, I don't know. It's a really beautiful building. Probably my favorite looking building, great building. But of course it's not actually good, which is a shame. Worse than the Temple of Relics, in my opinion. So, I don't know. Perhaps, I don't know. I think I would keep it for a bit at least. But yeah, If you want to focus on attacking attack, one thing I might consider replacing would be, well, the roads to victory would be one, but also for the butterfly and fall set, you can replace or remove the main buildings and try to rebuild those a bit to minimize the space they need, and that way increase the efficiency a bit. That might be one thing to do. FoE helper tool said it would be useful at level 3. Oh, which tool? I'm not quite sure which tool you're talking about. But yeah, I think the main thing is that you don't get buildings to sell to the antique dealer, which is one of the main things I think the Relics Temple is good at. But the Flying Island, you don't get anything to sell. Or you get a few kits I think you can sell, but yeah. In terms of forge and goods, I think it is slightly better. But yeah, not good. Not good, I think. Anyways, so that's one thing to consider. Another thing to consider, if you want to increase your attack, would be to replace or remove your statue of honors. Statuen. I recently removed all of mine in my city. Another thing, eventually, would be to replace the train wagons, the train cars. They're not really that great anymore in the space ages. I'll leave it forge producing building to learn next. Ah, I see. You can sell red nose the flying iron gives, but the rest items are nice to stock over. So yeah, of course. So yeah. Yeah, the rush items would be nice for events, I suppose. But yeah, I still don't think it's good. Oh, another small thing here, for example, try to avoid this. I think perhaps one thing you could try. No, it wouldn't work fully, but perhaps move these buildings here to the edge here, and then somehow move these inside here somehow, and perhaps do a few horizontal roads. But yeah, not sure. Some rework this a little bit. Statue will be replaced by elephants. I'm working on it. Nice. So yeah. These are supply buildings, I'm pretty sure. So eventually you might want to replace those. If you need supplies, then by all means keep them. But you might, let me see, I don't see any sleigh builders or the like, so perhaps you should pick up a couple, not many, but one or two sleigh builders. Ah, never mind, you have cider mills. So yeah, you can use the cider mills for current age productions for quests. So you can probably delete those unless you need the goods supplies. Eventually, I would probably replace the Colossus. Not that great anymore. Depending on if your guild needs it or not, perhaps the Atomium. It's of course a good guild building, but if they don't need the goods, then it's not really useful. But that's up to you to decide, depending on your guild needs. I recently replaced the deleted my lighthouse. So yeah, that's something you might consider deleting if you want the space. Train cars can be replaced for something better in South especially. Yeah, they can. They give 4 attack if this is the attack one. Dinner car, I think that's the attack one. I always forget which chain building is which, but it's the attack one, yeah. So it gives 4 attack for 6 tiles, which is not really good at all. I have the apple things instead of slavers. Yeah, you do. If you did a city review of my cities, when would it be? Next week, probably. I could probably do it next week. So this time next week, 7 PM every Saturday, I am live streaming. Louise. So yeah, next week. So yeah, let me see. So yeah, eventually perhaps also the Livestream lighthouse, whatever it's called, crow's nest. And I always call it lighthouse, even though it's not that in English. So yeah. The Galata might also be something to consider replacing. It's not that big, but not sure how much use you get out of it right now. And also the rock faces. These ones eventually. They're not that great anymore either. So yeah, I think that would be my main tips. So yeah, unless you have any unless you have any specific question. Pagoda. Ah, yeah, Fire Pagoda is quite outdated as well. So you can definitely replace that. Yeah, the Fire Pagoda is also quite outdated. I replaced mine in my most recent rebuild. And then eventually after that, I suppose it'll be the Botanical Rotundas. The Sage of Ages are not that efficient, or they're perfectly fine. A bit of Robon attack, I think, but yeah, eventually perhaps those will go as well. But yeah. Louis, I can check your city out next week. So if you come by next week, I can check it out. Because yeah, I'm starting to get quite tired in my voice. So yeah, I'm not going to be streaming for too much longer. So Little Star. Michael Bennett, are you still around? Let me see. Susan Mill, do you have the Susan Mill? You do, yeah. I would replace that as well. Yeah, I saw I got some pings, Rex, so I'll have a look at that after the stream. And perhaps I'll cover it in my beta recap tomorrow. So yeah. And Wiseman, are you around still? Let's see here. Not actually on better off, but but yeah. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. It was G, right? G. Okay, Wiseman, you're here, so let me have a look at yours first, and then let's see if the other one is around. So here. So Romania. White Qui-Gon. Nice name. Okay, Michael, you're here as well. Okay, I'll have a look at yours right after, Michael. Alrighty. Quite a big city, indeed. Alright, so, first thing I noticed... Well, a lot of things I noticed. First of all, some very nice chain buildings. So here you can see another example, I talked about it earlier. You connect the main building to a road, but all of the chain pieces, they are unconnected. Same thing up here, roads up here to those, but all of the chain buildings or pieces here unconnected. Same thing here with these. So, a lot of chain buildings, a very nice set layouts as well. This looks like the 12 by 13. This is the attack one that, well, I showed it in one of my videos, but I stole it, I suppose, from one of my neighbors in my world here. No, on my world, yeah, on one of my worlds. saw it there first, and then yeah, it was really cool, so I included it in my video. Yeah, really nice layout. And then yeah, in general, some very neat, well organized. These long rows with 3x3 buildings, 4 wide, 5 wide, and so on. Really nice and efficient. I imagine the efficiency is quite high. Ooh, 94. Okay, thought it would be a bit higher. Perhaps that's dragged down a bit by this open space here. But yeah, in general, really nice. Why chocolate replaced? I probably spent some diamonds, I suppose. Where is it? I can't see it. Give me a second and I'm sure I'll find it. Okay, I can't see it. Where is it? I guess I'm just not used to seeing it. In the middle. Level 2. There we go. Level 1. Okay, no. In that case, no diamond spent. Yeah. We'll probably build it eventually, so might as well place it already. That's absolutely it. So yeah. And it looks like you have some space, so definitely build it. No, as long as you know that you're getting it fully leveled, by all means place it, and can continue upgrading it as you get it. You do get a bit of defense from level 1 actually. So yeah, clean is definitely a nice word to describe it. Very clean. Yeah, very clean. Now in terms of buildings to replace eventually, if you do need some more space, I think the first candidate would probably be the train cars, as well as the roads to victory here. Because yeah, they're not that efficient in this age, so might want to replace those eventually. Let's see. And after that, I think after that you're probably going to stuff like the botanical rotundas. But not sure if you want to, I don't know. Eventually, of course, you will replace them. Stage of Ages as well, not the most efficient, but quite alright. It's 19, right? So 19 for, well, 18 tiles if you include roads, so just above 1 attack per tile. Definitely can do better, so eventually perhaps replace those as well. But I think some of these chain buildings are the first to go, which is a shame because they do look really nice. But yeah. Now I think it's the captains, right? Yes, that one I think. So that's the defense one. Potol Capitan. Yeah, that must be captain, I think. So yeah. I might do bend up perhaps. So yeah. The chain buildings would probably be the first to go. Or it depends. If you value aesthetics and stuff like that, perhaps just keep them. But yeah, if you want more efficiency, some of these chain buildings would probably be the first to go. In general, chain buildings really good early on, but as you get further and further into the ages, they do drop in value. Because yeah, they generally don't age, or none of them age, I think. Or the attack boosts don't, or values don't change depending on age. Which means that early on, they're actually very good, but later on, not so good, as the other buildings do increase in attack or other boosts. So yeah, in terms of layout, I don't really think I have much to say. It's really clean, really well organized. So yeah, I don't really think I have anything, I don't know, negative to say there. This space here, is that, do you have expansions here, or is this just building these expansions here for the chain building? I kind of need more defense, just to make it closer to the attack stat. No, in general I think it's nice to have the attack a bit higher. But yeah, That's up to you, of course. So defense never hurts as well, so... Yeah, what's your attack stats? Because even though you do get quite a lot of defense from that, it does look like most of the rest of your city is focused on attack. But yeah, eventually, for defense, you would like to replace this with sentinels. But of course, that's more of a long-term project. From this event, though, I think probably go of sentinels would be, or sentinels, it is my go-to. It does have rows on two sides, but it's not that big of a deal, because if you avoid that, I don't know, because he has a lot of big buildings, sometimes it is necessary to do that. You might be able to avoid it by moving it, I don't know, down here somewhere perhaps. But in general, at least if you have a lot of big buildings, eventually you will, I don't know, you're kind of forced to do it, but yeah, you're right. If you are able to avoid having roads on two sides of the mountain reserve, you could try to change it. That's some very healthy stats. 2,367 attack and 1,418 defense. That's very nice. So yeah. The free places will be used for quests and future events. Yeah. Yeah, in general it does help having a free space you can use in events to complete the build quests. But yeah, in general, really nice idea. Really nice. And yeah, unless you have any other specific questions, I think I will round this off by going to Little Star, Mr. Michael on ENG. So here we go. Let's collect, why not? Probably haven't been here in, I don't know, a year or two. How is the asylum efficiency? Yeah, that's actually not that great anymore. So you can definitely replace the asylums if you want to. Yeah, those were actually not that great. It's ooh, let's see. It's below 1. I think it's 0.8 something, 86 or something. Abandoned asylum. Level 9, 24. So it's 24 divided by 27.5 if we include roads. So yeah, 0.87. So it's not actually that good anymore. So yeah, definitely replace that. That's a good candidate. You have 3 of those, so you can free up quite a bit of space. The train and the wagons are less efficient, so perhaps replace those first. Same with the Statue of Honor, I think. No, actually no, those are slightly more efficient, although they are defense rather than attack, but yeah. Wagons probably first, and then the Abandoned Asylum, I think. So yeah, Abandoned Asylum is definitely quite low on the list of efficiency. So yeah, you can definitely replace those if you want to. Alright. And yeah, if you have any other questions, by all means ask, I'll still answer. But let's... Lords of War. That's Mr. Chronic Pillow, right? Yeah, there we go. So get rid of the trains as well, or just the wagons. No, the trains are good. The charcoal train is good. Actually, really good. Oh, it gained a lot of attack in the later stages. So the charcoal express here, you can see it gained a lot of attack. So now it's 26 for 22.5 tiles. 1.1 something, I think. 6 divided by 2.5. Yeah, 1.16 attack per tile. So that's really good. So yeah, don't replace those. But the train wagons, the train building, the train pieces are not that great. Yeah, the chat is a bit slow. Oh, not in guilds and players. All right, actually, that's the same, yeah, same layout for both the cherry set and the and the wheat field, the fall set. I see you're missing 2 pieces, but otherwise, very nice. Yeah, I'm talking a bit to KP every now and then. He has some, well, probably quite founded, but some, yeah, complaints to say the least about the moderation team. But yeah, we can talk about that another time. I will probably make a video eventually on that. But yeah, I would like a bit more information before. Anyways, logging off for the day. Thanks again, Moo, and good night. Thank you, Lassie. Thanks for sticking by. Thanks for joining. And enjoy your day as well, Sibe. Alright, so yeah, very nice set buildings. Get those 2 pieces from the antique sealer. Actually, speaking of which, not sure if no, I did mention it in my last beta recap video. But we have some new pieces. I think those should be added already. The Harvest Farm selection kit to the shop, so you can buy it directly. So try to pick up those last 2 pieces. Very nice butterfly set as well. And in general, I'm a really big fan of having a chain building like this, kind of aesthetically, in the middle with other buildings surrounding it like this. I really like the look. I had it on my old city layout with my hippodrome. Swapped it out on my latest build, but yeah, really nice. So yeah, that's really nice. So yeah, first thing, I think what you can probably try to do with your town hall here, do something like this. Town hall connecting 3 big buildings, great buildings, for example, to 1 road. You can probably manage to do it on both sides of the great building. Something like, I can show an example on. I did it on my latest rebuild, and quite a few other people, of course, are doing it. Because here, for example, connecting all of these big buildings here with 1 road. So you can try to do something like that with your town hall, because yeah, the town hall there, not the most efficient, connecting it to 5 roads. 7? No, wait, how big is it? It's 7, right? Anyways, yeah, connecting it alongside, that's something you can do. I think Colossus is up for shop, maybe Asylum also. Yeah, both of those are quite outdated now. The Colossus is, it's 15, right? I think it's 15. Or is it 16? 15. Oh wow, that should also have been increased. But it didn't. So yeah, that's 15 for 18 tiles. So yeah, the Colossus is slightly worse than the Abandoned Asylum, but both of those are quite outdated now, so you can replace both of those. So yeah, that's something you definitely can replace to get some more attack. Let's see. I would probably also consider replacing the Roads to Victory, and possibly also the Statue of Honor. Replace that completely. Depending on if your guild needs it for the guild goods, but well, you are quite an active guild, I hear, so perhaps you do need those goods. The Fire Pagoda as well, actually. That's probably the first to go, because that's 12 for 16 tiles. So that's even worse than the Colossus. So the Fire Pagoda first, then the Colossi, and then the Abandoned Asylum. Yeah, the Town Hall suggestion is really nice. Let's see, what else? Grenadier, that's perfectly fine. I'm assuming you're using that space, or perhaps this space, for event quests as well. You have a lot of blacksmiths, so it does look like you have some place still in your city, so you might not need to replace things eventually. But of course, when you do, those are some good alternatives. The Crow's Nest might also be a good alternative, depending on if you value the resources it gives or not. If you're purely out to attack, you can probably replace that. I replaced mine in my latest rebuild. What else do we have? Sorry. And well, depending on how much you value the forge points you get, you might consider replacing things like or deleting things like the Hagia Sophia. That might not be worth it anymore. Sea Vault is nice for diamonds, of course, but depending on if you value that or not, perhaps delete that. What else? The Inno Tower as well, for example, might be time to delete that as well, because you probably don't need the population. So yeah. In terms of layout, not sure if I have too much to say, except for the Town Hall trick. Otherwise, it's fairly good. Oh, actually, this area here is a little bit messy. With rows on two sides of a few of these buildings over here. That would be these Royal Marble Gateways. So, possibly, for example, if you replace the statue here, you might move these roads over here, for example. Then you can have 3x3 buildings on both sides, or actually we would need a bigger buildings there, but yeah, perhaps rework this area here slightly, depending on if you remove this. Yeah. This area down here, I think it's alright. But you should consider, because even though all of these buildings here, you are only connecting them by one road, you're surrounding these stages of ages here with roads, which is quite inefficient for those. So this is probably still alright, but you might actually benefit by not doing it here. I'm not sure, but you might. So it's something you might consider rebuilding this area a bit as well, to perhaps avoid this. It's something that haven't really, or something that I've been, I don't know, debating myself forever. Is it worth it? Is it not? I'm not sure. I don't really know the answer. Perhaps I should look into the math, I suppose. But yeah. I have a feeling though that surrounding the Stage of Ages, which are quite big buildings with roads like this, might not be the most efficient. So possibly rework that as well. I don't quite know if it's better than, you know, using a road on the shortest side of those buildings or not. But you could probably move perhaps at least two of those to the outside here, for example, and that end into them with a road here, for example, in this area. I think that might be possible to do. But yeah, you'll see. In general, quite all right here, I think. So yeah. All right. So unless you have any other questions, I think that's pretty much it. Alright, looking forward to have a look at it once again in a couple of weeks perhaps, or a couple of months, who knows, if you are on. But yeah, have fun rebuilding, and hopefully we're able to improve a few things here and there, but in general, quite alright. Alright, so I've been streaming for 2 hours and 40 minutes now, on the longer side of what I usually do. I usually try to do around 2 hours. So I think I will end the stream now. Once again, I would like to thank all of you for helping me pass 10,000 subscribers. Really appreciate it. And thanks for all the questions for the Q&A. Thanks for joining me and all of that. So yeah, thanks for watching, thanks for joining. Hope you have a wonderful rest of the weekend, and I will see you probably in a video tomorrow, a beta recap. But yeah, again, next week at the same time, I will also be doing a live stream. So thanks for watching, take care, and I will see you in the future.